Hello and welcome to today's video on the channel. I am William Gwynne and today I'll be talking about some authors whose works I intend to discover in 2023. So many of these authors have been on my radar for quite a while now, but hopefully 2023 is the year where I finally get to them. For me, I'm intending for this year to be a year dominated a lot by rereads, as I will be going through The Realm of the Eldlings again by Robin Hobb. I will be rereading some David Gemmell. I'll probably be reading Papa Gwynne's The Faith from the Fallen again, and so on and so forth. But today we're here to talk about some new books, some new authors, and what hopefully I'll be talking about a lot on the channel during the next 12 months. First up, I will be talking about C.S. Lewis, and I'll be reading the Chronicles of Narnia to rectify the borderline crime of a reader of not having read Narnia before. So Papa Gwynne read book 1, The Magician's Nephew, to me when I was quite young, and I really enjoyed it, but I never picked up the rest of the books. And so yes, I blame myself. I am here to make up for the mistakes of past Will. And yeah, so I'm really looking forward to reading these for the first time. They're many people's nostalgic favourites, and I'm looking forward to, of course, reading them now, because whilst they are classics, they're ones that I know next to nothing about other than book 1, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, and The Magician's Nephew. They're the only two that I know what happens in them. The other, I think there's 4 or 5, I have next to no clue what will unfold in these books, but I'm really looking forward to reading them. From what I remember, C.S. Lewis had a very beautiful but accessible prose style, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading these books and of course talking about them on this channel. Next up, I'm going to be talking about Will White. So some may see this as a crime, but I got a Kindle, and so I'm not betraying the books. I'm not betraying the shelves. Basically, the shelves were too full. They're over brimming. There's piles of books in the room. I'm tripping over them. They have presented a health and safety hazard. And so I was kindly bought a Kindle for Christmas, and so that I may read some books on here, and then if I really enjoy them, I can buy them as well. Because let's be honest, I'm not going to stop buying them. But this may limit it somewhat. And so the first book I'll be reading on the Kindle is Unsold by Will White, book 1 of his Cradle series, which has been a recent phenomenon. And then I believe book 2 is Soulsmith, book 3 Black Flame, and I don't remember any of the others, but I believe there are many, many more. And this is known as leveling up or progression fantasy, which I don't think I've ever read before, but basically it's a bit like a game where the further on you get, the more you level up, you get better armor, better magic, and you get more and more powerful and encountering more powerful beings. And so, yeah, it'd be very interesting to read that in a book. And I've read the first few chapters, and it's very unique, very engaging, and I'm really liking the prose style of Will White. I may be trying out the Audible narration as well, because it's by Travis Baldree, writer and author of Legends and Lattes, and he had quite a large fan base because of his narration of Will White's series Cradle. And so yeah, Will White is definitely an author I intend to discover in 2023, and I'm really looking forward to it. Next up, I have an author who has been talked about so much over the last 12 months, and that is Fonda Lee, author of the Greenbone Saga. I'll be reading Jade City and Jade War in the first quarter of 2023, and then hopefully I'll read Jade Legacy soon after that. This has been likened to the fantasy version of The Godfather, which, as I said in a previous video, is one of my favourite films of all time, as is the second film, the sequel. Absolutely amazing films, and I'm looking forward to seeing what is called the fantasy version of The Godfather. Obviously very different, but inspired by familiar elements of a mafia-like family, and so on and so forth. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Mike's Book Reviews loved these books, and then he read The Godfather and loved that as well. So basically I'm copying him. I'm going to be reading the Greenbone Saga, and then I'll be reading The Godfather. So yes, Fonda Lee is another author that I'm intending to discover in 2023. I read the first few chapters of Jade City a few months ago on my laptop in the Kindle app, but I just didn't get on with reading off the screen. But what I read was really great. I just stopped because reading off a laptop for that long was giving me a headache. But now I have got a Kindle, so that solves all the previous problems and obstacles which were there. So yes, I'll be reading Jade City very early in 2023, and I am more than looking forward to it. So my brother Ed, who I run the Brothers Gwynne channel with, has been guiding, I'd say guiding, but probably forcefully guiding and directing me in the direction of Larry McMurtry's Lonesome Dove, and I will be finally reading it in 2023. I've said that 2023 will also be my Western year, so I'm going to read True Grit, Lonesome Dove, The Sun, and hopefully more, because I do love some Western films and programs. I recently watched The English with Chask Spencer and Emily Blunt. I thought it was incredible. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to Lonesome Dove. Recently watched a review of it on Matt's Fantasy Book Reviews channel, and he absolutely loved this. I think he said it's his second favourite book of all time, or it probably will be when it's settled down from that recency bias. And so yeah, it really hyped me up for wanting to dive into this again, and I'll be doing it. It's no small book. So it will take me some time, and my brother Ed said to take your time about reading it. Don't binge it, because even though it is quite easy to do so, you want it to really sink in, and it's quite thought-provoking as well. So this will be one that I'll give quite a lot of time to. I probably won't get to it in the first quarter of 2023, but I definitely will before the end of the first half of 2023. Hopefully, maybe. Probably. So yeah, that is Lonesome Dove, and I'll hopefully be reading some of the others. I think one is called Comanche Moon. There's a quartet now, but so this is, I think, book 3 in the quartet, but it is published first, and you can read it first. And so yeah, that's what I'll be doing. I will also be hoping to discover the works of Jennifer Saint, who is the author of Ariadne and Electra, and of course I'll be far from the first to discover these works. Jennifer Saint has been a recent phenomenon across the globe, especially with this book Ariadne. So Ariadne and Electra are two very successful Greek retellings, and it's kind of taking one key woman in a Greek myth or tale, and usually the women are kind of on the periphery, and they're referred to with an almost perfunctory nature, and they're really just left on the edges, even though they should be so integral to the story, and the men have become the focus. But Jennifer Saint, along with quite a few authors, has set out to embark on the journey of making women more at the centre of the Greek myths, as they should be as such key figures. And so I absolutely adore Silence of the Girls and the Women of Troy by Pat Barker, which has Briseis as the sole. Well, in Silence of the Girls, she's the sole perspective, but in Women of Troy, it goes to a few others as well. But yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. I recently read The Thousand Ships by Natalie Haynes. There were some issues with the first third I had. I thought that the tone and atmosphere didn't really fluctuate at all, which made it feel a bit stagnant. But after that, it was absolutely great. And I will be having a review of A Thousand Ships, on the channel soon. But yeah, Ariadne, really looking forward to reading it. And hopefully I'll be reading Electra by Jennifer Saint as well. And next I'm going to be talking about some more self-published fantasy. And that is Illborn and the sequel Aduel Sin. Sorry if I've pronounced that wrong. Aduel Sin, which is released in 2023, and this is by Daniel T. Jackson. Illborn has been highly praised across the kind of community that I engage with, and so yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading it. I have a signed copy from Daniel T. Jackson, which I bought from the Broken Binding, and so yeah, really looking forward to reading this and the sequel. And yes, reading some more self-published fantasy. I read quite a lot of self-published fantasy in 2021. 2022 I didn't so much. I read Ryan Cahill, great discovery, brilliant author. And then right at the tail end I read Along the Razor's Edge by Rob J. Hayes. But that was it basically. But in 2023 I intend to read The Sword of Kagan, more Ryan Cahill, Will White, as I previously mentioned, Daniel T. Jackson, and hopefully a few others. But yeah, I'm talking about Daniel T. Jackson right now. Really looking forward to reading this. It's meant to be unique and fresh fantasy, and it's known to be pretty epic as well. Book 1 of the Illborn saga. So as I said, really looking forward to getting into this, and I have high hopes. Next up, I have Carlo Ruiz Zafón, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, and the book in particular is The Shadow of the Wind, and I believe there's 3 or 4 books in this series, and it's got a mystery element, it's got a little fantastical element as well, and it is historical at the same time, so it's an amalgamation of quite a few different genres, and it sounds really unique. Millions of people have really enjoyed this series, and it's about time that I finally pick it up. It's been on my shelf for about a year now, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And The Shadow of the Wind, the premise sounds great. I've heard that his writing is absolutely beautiful, and so yeah, I'm really looking forward to looking and riding along on that journey. Also, it's been labelled as a story of murder, madness, and doomed love. So yeah, I'm hooked. Only 2 to go. I won't bore you for much longer. Thank you so much for watching this far. Not too long to go. And next up, I have James Islington. I've called him James Islington on the channel loads, for which I apologise for, because I learned that you pronounce his name James Islington. The S is silent. And so he has written the Lycanius trilogies, beginning with The Shadow of What Was Lost, and he has a new release coming out in 2023. So hopefully I'll be reading that, and hopefully I'll be reading this. So I've got the whole series in special editions because the Broken Binding had them as part of their subscription, and so of course they are waiting my shelves. Beautiful editions with some really nice foils under the cover, and so yeah, really looking forward to getting to these, and I'm sure that I'll enjoy it. It's meant to be having fate as a core idea and theme and question at the core of this series. Say, basically asking the question is it alright to commit terrible deeds for the greater good? And so that's kind of, I think it's called a utilitarian philosophy, whereas a Kantist wouldn't commit evil for the greater good. Batman is a Kantist in the sense that he will not kill anyone, even if killing someone, say the Joker, would in the long run save lives. So I'm quite interested in kind of that debate between the two philosophies. And the Shadow of What Was Lost sounds like it engages with that. And Mike's Book Reviews, well, Mike over on Mike's Book Reviews, it's hard not to call him by Mike's Book Reviews. I forget that his middle name isn't Books and his surname isn't Reviews. But Mike, anyway, has read this series, and I believe that he really enjoyed each book. So yeah, I've got high hopes. I've watched the reviews, and it's got me hooked. I've said that a lot, and that is why these authors are on my list of to read and discover in 2023. Next up I have Toni Morrison, a hugely renowned and respected author, and I'll be starting with Beloved, one of her, if not most famous books, then one of the most famous books. And I believe that she has been said to shine a lens in a very unique way on racial prejudice and the themes surrounding that, and also looking at how the past affects us so deeply as individuals, but also collectively as a society, as a group, and on a global level as well. And yeah, so that really interests me. I know that this is going to be a very hard-hitting book. I've heard a lot of people say that it's brilliantly written, but it's hard-hitting and very powerful. So it's very important to read, but one that I've heard say that you need to be in the right place to read it. So I'll wait until I'm feeling able to read this, and then I think that this is going to go down as one of my favourites. You know, when you just have that feeling where a book is going to really, really rock you, and I think that Beloved is going to be one of those. It's been on my shelf for quite a while now, but hopefully I'll finally get to it in 2023. And so there we go. They are the authors I intend to discover in 2023. So yes, it's 2023 now. It's not when I'm recording. It's the penultimate day of 2022. But when this video is out, it will be 2023. And so yes, this is just a few of those authors that I have planned to discover. Hopefully there'll be many, many more throughout the year that take me by surprise. But these are the ones that, as I begin 2023, or as I'm going into it, I guess, that I'm really looking forward to discovering their works this coming year. This year. Oh, it's so confusing when I'm now putting a video that I'm recording before the end of the year, but coming out in the next one. But anyway, instead of confusing myself, let's talk about the books the books and the authors I've discussed. So hopefully you're intrigued by a few of these authors. Please do let me know if you've read anything by them, if you've enjoyed their works, if you'll also be reading them in 2023, or any books that are similar. Let me know all of that in the comments below, and also let me know that if when I read any of these that you would particularly like to see a review of it up on the channel, because I'll be happy to do so, and I'll endeavour to try and have some interesting thoughts, which I don't always do. I sometimes say just the obvious ones, but hey, this channel is just about what I'm thinking about books, and just talking about books, and yeah, raving about them for the most part. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to, and very excited about the list of books I've got for 2023, and yeah, starting with the Kindle as well, so that'll be very interesting. I'm enjoying it so far. It's easy to read off, and I thought it would take a while to get used to it, and it is a bit strange, but it's not jarring and it's not creating a barrier. I was just immersed in reading Unsoiled by Will White. I've only read 2 chapters, but there we go. Kindle's working so far. And so yeah, there we go. Thank you so much everyone for watching, and stay safe.